I'm very excited to talk to you about this movie, a film that I find utterly charming. And as a casual Harry Potter fan over the years, I mean, I like being in the world, but none of the movies, I almost forgot them as soon as I left the theater. But again, I just had a nice feeling about Harry Potter overall. But this movie has stuck with me. I find this movie captivating. Now, I understand that a number of you, with good reason, have a real problem with J.K. Rowling, and you are very reluctant to give her any points for anything this movie might achieve, any credit, and to, help her out by having the movie do well. And it's unfortunate that she will, in all likelihood, hold back this movie, which I feel is just so special and accomplishes so much. She should have been a bigger person in so many ways and stepped back from this, and many things she should have stepped back from. But I hope that you will listen to my whole review, because I've made a very big effort here to tell you why I find this film so special and so important. And I've also seen online a lot of you making assumptions that this is going to be the same old from Hollywood when it comes to LGBT characters on screen. It's not. This is groundbreaking. So, and also, please also keep in mind that movies are made by a group of people, and J.K. Rowling is just one person. She might be one of the main people, but so many people have worked on this movie and done a phenomenal job. And again, I think put something really good and important out into the world. And I hope that it's able to survive despite J.K. Rowling. And if it doesn't, that's just, in my opinion, another strike against her, that she would be responsible for this not doing well. And again, as I said, that would be a real shame, because this is magical. All right, so let's do this. Now, so I want to start off my review with 3 hard truths. 1, I am a straight person commenting on this, and again, I understand the situation with J.K. Rowling, which I disapprove of. But she and screenwriter Steve Kloves, I know some of you don't like the but it's important. Listen to what I have to say, please. Screenwriter Steve Kloves, by the way, is working on a Fantastic Beasts movie for the first time. And thank goodness, because J.K. Rowling has proven to be a horrible screenwriter with the first 2 Fantastic Beasts movies. And this movie has delivered the first Hollywood blockbuster that centers on a gay couple. This is an all-ages, family-friendly, already long-established and existing franchise. That's huge to do that. Warner Brothers spent $200 million on a movie about, again, a gay couple, and that's before advertising. And they have created, and I hope this cements Dumbledore as the first openly gay, iconic film hero in a major franchise. He is wonderful. He both stole my heart and broke my heart. I just am so impressed with this. Now, I know a lot of you like to point to Fastos and Eternals, and while that was an important step, that was such a small part of the overall film, with no character development or exploration. It felt like, to me, and I know many others, like Hollywood was just checking a box once again. This is not that. This is exciting. Oh, it's fantastic. All right. We'll talk about that more, but we're on the hard truths section. Here's another one that's going to blow some of your minds. Hard truth number 2. As much as I love Johnny Depp, and I feel it was very unfair that not only that he was fired off of this franchise, but how he was fired. But Mads Mikkelsen is a much better Grindelwald. He's much better, and he's a much better partner in every sense of the word. Scene partner, romantic partner for Jude Law. And finally, hard truth number 3. Having never read the books, and I have never totally understood what is happening in any Harry Potter movie, including this one. I mean, I have a pretty good idea, but I don't know for sure. But I wasn't bored. Hooray! Because in the first 2 Fantastic Beasts movies, I was bored, largely because Dumbledore and Grindelwald were the B storyline, while Newt Scamander and friends were the A storyline. But now that has been flipped. Don't worry, Newt's still very much a part of this movie. There are some Newt fans out there, unbelievably. But Kloves recognizes what we all have known, and that's that everyone is much more interested in Dumbledore and Grindelwald. Plus, that Dan Fogler's Jacob Kowalski is a gem of a character who spends most of the movie paired up with the equally charismatic Jessica Williams, a fantastic new addition to the wizarding world. Loved her. While the Harry Potter movies were about a group of children having an adventure at school, Fantastic Beasts, especially this entry, is about a group of adults having an adventure in the real world. Ooh, I love it. Isn't that great? And this is a very political film and also a very romantic movie. And that's where I want to start, with the romance. I really liked it. I like it. I mean, even while I was watching it, I was, again, I was like, I'm not quite sure what's happening here, but it has really stuck with me. I mean, Dr. Zhivago is one of my favorite movies. This was a little Dr. Zhivago-y, and I love that. And that was a tragic romance. Tragic romances are great. Don't discount them. They are really good stuff. Those are the ones that stick with you. All right, so I've always been a fan of Jacob and Queenie's romance, which is front and center here. And Tina Goldstein fans, I know a number of you have been curious as to what's going on. No spoilers, but let's just say you won't be disappointed. But the heart of this film is Dumbledore and Grindelwald, the heart of it, with their story, being that heart, their love. The film is so well constructed in that regard. Pay attention to how it opens and how it ends. I was blown away by that. That's good writing, Cloves. That's good writing. I love having a good screenwriter on this. Plus electric performances from Law and Mikkelsen. I mean, I was mesmerized and found the film hauntingly beautiful. Oh, it's so good. But let's cut to the chase, because you've been queer baited before. How gay is it? And I'll tell you with as few spoilers as possible. If you want absolutely no spoilers at all, you might want to skip to the next section. But don't worry, there's lots to unpack still when you see the actual movie. And to see these scenes, oh, what a treat. Dumbledore and Grindelwald openly talk about their past love for each other multiple times throughout the film. I know some of you are like, can you edit this stuff out? You can't. It's what the movie is about. And they talk about it to other people as well. It's clear they're still, so they tell each other how much they loved each other, and they're telling other people that, especially Dumbledore. And it's clear there are still very strong feelings there, particularly for Dumbledore, the way he looks at Grindelwald. Find someone who looks at you like Dumbledore looks at Grindelwald. By the way, don't make a blood pact with an ex, because every time someone asks you about it, you got to tell them that you dated. I was like, man, how embarrassing that he has to keep bringing this up to everybody who asks why he can't move against Grindelwald. He's like, we dated, I know. It was my rebellious phase. But Dumbledore is literally wearing his heart on his sleeve, which is a nice touch. That was very nice. I liked that. And their tragic romantic past, well known to fans, is discussed in detail. It would have been nice to see it, but maybe in a future film. Major steps are made here, and I think there could be major steps in the next two installments. Not only is there incredible, palpable sexual tension between Dumbledore and Grindelwald, you could cut it with a knife. There's one intense moment where their eyes meet that sent chills down my spine. I can't wait to see that moment again. That's one of the coolest moments I've ever seen in a movie, in a romantic adventure movie. I mean, it was just wow. I can't believe that was in there. Again, as I said, at this rate, with 2 more movies to go, I think the franchise probably is working towards a kiss, either in current time or in a flashback down the line. I think they're laying the groundwork for that, because they do get physical at one point. There is some physicality, and you really feel it. I don't want to spoil it, but it was very romantic. All right, the end was just so hauntingly beautiful. We'll have fun in the spoiler review. So hauntingly, it's going to be great. So hauntingly beautiful, so tragically romantic. Again, it reminded me of Dr. Zhivago. It's along the lines of those types of movies. It was just great. And even better, Dumbledore is not just his relationship with Grindelwald. He is Indiana Jones and Henry Jones rolled into one, with a little George Bailey sprinkled on top. How great is that Sunday? Wow. With large parts of the film actually feeling a lot like an Indiana Jones movie, in the best way. Harvey Milk famously campaigned, that's a great movie, Milk, by the way. Harvey Milk famously campaigned to show people that the LGBT community was not the other, but that the LGBT people were already in your life as people you knew, respected, and loved. That was really crucial to Harvey Milk's success. And I think all these decades later, it's unfortunate that battle is still being waged. But I think having a character like Dumbledore played so beautifully by Jude Law in a big franchise like Harry Potter, with a big studio behind it, and theme parks, and stores, and theatrical, like stage experiences, and more. I mean, they could do so much with Dumbledore. I think it could do so much good to break down even more doors, and I hope that it does. As for Mads Mikkelsen as Grindelwald, he has a much more understated performance than Depp, and that allows him not only to really connect with Law, but it actually makes him seem much more evil. He reminded me very much of Putin, in fact, many times throughout this film. What he does to Yusuf Kama was one of the cruelest things I've ever seen. It just floored me. I can't wait to talk to you about it. I also feel this movie does a good job of underscoring how those currently in power often underestimate and are too slow to counter those outside forces who are aggressively coming after them and their beliefs. Every time! It's so annoying. We see it again and again in history. We see it today, both in real life and now in the wizarding world. So I thought those were important lessons to take from this movie. I liked that. Secrets of Dumbledore is almost 2.5 hours, which is good. Because yes, there's no end credit scenes, by the way. I wish there were, but they're not. I just think they're not even sure if they're going to be making some more. I hope they do. This is a story worth continuing. But yes, Newt is still in the movie. Here I think Eddie Redmayne is actually used much better than he has been in the past, as are Fantastic Beasts, who tie directly into the story in a very clever way. And they are brought to life with some amazing VFX. I would love to see how the scenes were actually filmed, because the actors interact with the beasts so convincingly. I'm like, what are you actually holding? That's cool. The whole cast is quite charming. Even Ezra Miller has some nice moments, but his scenes have been dramatically cut down. Really ridiculously cut down. It might have to do with some of the things that's been unfortunately happening with him in real life, but his role has been whittled down substantially. I would have liked to have seen more done with that. He has one visually stunning fight with Dumbledore, but I continue to feel that the spells are very poorly explained in these movies. Also, because these are adults and not students, they do not recite their spells aloud when they cast them. So unless you're familiar with these spells going in, it's hard to tell exactly what's going on. You just see a lot of wand waving. Boop, 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 pew, 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 pew. And I'm like, looks cool. I don't know idea what you just did. And I don't know what strategies they're using. I know sometimes with other Harry Potter movies, fans have been like, oh, they just used that spell. But here I was just like, again, it was hard to follow. But it was still cool to look at. But I love being in the wizarding world, and we rack up a lot of miles in this globe-trotting adventure. It really made me want to go back to the theme parks. I was like, it's so great. I love being here. The sets are absolutely divine, and the world building exquisite. I love how magic is used, both overtly and subtly, in the wizarding world. Those little things are great. Those little touches, those little flourishes are just a delight. It is weird that this is a spring movie. It was originally, a long time ago, supposed to come out in November, which makes much more sense because it's so delightfully autumn/winter with its crisp British fashions and also Christmas card snow-covered streets. They had some falling snow scenes. It was really a delight. Speaking of British fashions, I loved how snappily dressed everyone was. Everyone was dressed to the nines. I happened to be a little dressed up myself that day. Like the first time in 2 years with this pandemic, I dressed up a little bit, and I'm glad that I did, because I felt real nice being in the theater watching the movie. So if you want to dress up a little bit, just put on some of your nicest stuff or stuff that you really like. I think it will pay off when you go to the movie. You'll be like, yeah, me too. I love that. Jessica Williams and Alison Sudol in particular have some really beautiful costumes. There's also genuine danger in this movie and some very scary moments. I had to hide my eyes a few times. It was very well done. It was great. This movie has everything. I feel that with 5 movies promised for Fantastic Beasts, what this movie really is a transition from Newt and Friends to Dumbledore versus Grindelwald. I love the way they leave it. I mean, the movie's still moving a little slow, this overall storyline, but that's okay. They didn't get off to a great start, but I feel like the Fantastic Beasts storyline is finally finding its groove. And this is a new adventure that I really am excited and I hope that we get to go on. So welcome back, Wizarding World. I had a great time watching this. And again, as I said, it has stuck with me like no other Harry Potter movie before it. And I really hope welcome Dumbledore to the pantheon of beloved major franchise film heroes. What a character. Oh my God. All right, so that's my non-spoiler review for Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore. What's the secret? He's awesome. Which is opening in some countries this Friday, which is why the embargo is lifting so early. There's also some fan events tomorrow night, so beware spoilers. Although I think in some cases it might help this movie a little bit, because I think, again, there are a lot of assumptions being made about it. But it'll hit the United States and many other countries next Friday, April 15th. So again, that's my non-spoiler review. Share your thoughts down below. If you've seen it, please don't spoil it. Wait for the spoiler review to share those comments. But if you want to vouch for the movie, or hey, if you don't want to, whatever you want to do down below, just please be polite. Share those thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.